everybody, and welcome to the Rebel News Daily Livestream. I'm the co-host of Misunderstood. My name is Nat.
And my name is Kat. I'm the other co-host of Misunderstood. Imagine that.
As you know, the live stream airs every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, and Getter. We love that you guys are here every single day. New hosts every day, and today it's Female Friday, so welcome. Make sure you all send in your Rumble rants and your whatever chats throughout the show, and if they're $5 and over, we're going to be reading them live on the air and responding to you. And as Kat mentioned, if you send $20 or more, and it's mean, we'll read it on air and enjoy it.
Yeah, you can abuse us for $20 or more. For $50, Nat will cut her hair live on stream.
I will cut my hair on the stream if you donate $50. Yes.
We only have kitchen scissors, though.
Woo! Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot going on in the news today. I think we're going to start things off with a clip here from everyone's favorite Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Love him.
Love him.
You condemned back in June the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. You called it horrific. What limits, if any, on abortion would you support? For example, any governmental restrictions on very late termination of pregnancy. Could you clarify your position on that, please? Thank you.
In Canada, it is medical professionals who make determinations around what is best for mothers, particularly in late terms. In Canada, we support unequivocally women's right to choose. It is a fundamental tenet of freedom. Is it a fundamental tenet of our society that we stand up for women's rights? And as we see in the United States attempts to roll back rights that women have fought for generations, the idea that there are young girls growing up in the United States who will have less rights over their own bodies than their mothers did is exactly what Canadians, Americans, and people all around the world are so concerned about. We need to make sure we are standing up for people's rights and freedoms. In Canada, we will do that by ensuring access to abortion for every Canadian who wants it. And we will make sure we continue to fight for better health and reproductive rights all around the world, which used to mean being there to fight for health and reproductive rights in the global south. We'll help out in the United States if we need to as well.
So much there. There's just so much.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Oh my God. Where do we even begin?
All right. Well, maybe we should start with the word freedom, Canada's F word, so to speak. I don't know if you remember, Kat, but back in February,
I don't remember.
There was a truckers' convoy.
No.
And the people who participated in the truckers' convoy were completely crapped on by our Prime Minister. And what were they protesting?
I have no idea.
Sorry.
Oh, wait, it was for freedoms.
Oh,
rights and freedoms.
Right.
Yes.
So women are allowed to have the freedom to kill their unborn babies, but if you want to protest to not take an injection, no, let's freeze your bank account.
Yeah, also trample you with a horse, possibly.
Potentially.
So you have all the rights in the world, according to Justin Trudeau, unless you are an unborn child.
Great.
Because he's like, we're trying to protect the rights and freedoms of all Canadians. Well, not if you're unborn.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something about like American women have less rights than their mothers did. Not the ones in the bellies.
Yeah.
They actually have more rights now because they're not going to be flushed.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, obviously Joe Biden is the president of the United States, so that's, it's a bit icky, but I would still argue that the United States is a much freer nation than Canada. Mm-hmm. So who is he to point fingers at the United States about freedom?
I feel like Justin Trudeau doesn't, I mean, obviously he does, but does he understand really that it's a state, like they didn't take away the right, like we've said this a billion times, they didn't take away anyone's right to an abortion, they just made it a state choice. So now if you live in a state that doesn't have an abortion, well, you have the choice and the right to go to another state. But in Canada, it's a federal law that says you can have an abortion. people keep going back and forth on this. I've heard people say there are no abortion laws in Canada.
Yeah, there technically aren't.
There are, though. You can't have an abortion after 24 weeks unless the mother's life is in danger.
Well, it's up to the doctor's discretion.
Yeah, so you can have a sketchy doctor.
Which means it's pretty open-ended, yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing that people kind of forget when it comes to having abortions at the state level is that means that the voters voted to have their state representative represent them. So when they are, overturning Roe v. Wade within their state and like limiting abortion access, that's what the voters want for the most part. That's what a majority of the voters want. So they're representing the people, which is, I don't know what the government's supposed to do.
Yeah, like democracy?
Hello.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like.
Is democracy a negative word now too?
Yeah.
Or does it just mean something different to the left and the right? Oh, it's racist.
It's racist.
Okay, it's something.
It's so funny when liberals talk about authoritarianism, and it's like, you people are the most authoritarian people on the planet, because you say what we dictate as a moral code is going to be law, and if you go against it, you are a bigot and you're racist and you're a misogynist.
A trucker.
You're a trucker.
Goodness gracious. No one wants to be called a trucker.
But that's what real authoritarianism is. Yeah. It's just a big foot from the government coming down and stomping on everyone's rights and freedoms. And that's exactly what, and he dodges the question.
Of course he does.
Because he doesn't even want to say, well, I don't think you should kill your baby the day before it's due to be born. He can't even say that. He can't even say, there's a reasonable amount of time in which a woman can have an abortion. Like, if that's how he feels, he could say that. Like, what is it, 12 weeks? Was it 24 weeks? He can't even say that. He just goes on and on about young girls and their mothers and this and that. Like, young girls.
It's always an emotional thing, too. They always pull at your heartstrings, and they don't speak about abortion from a factual place. It's always just emotional manipulation, frankly. And one of the things he said is we need to make sure we are standing up for people's rights and freedoms. He doesn't say women in that quote.
I missed that, and it's
hilarious. You know who can give birth? Women, which means only women can have abortions. We're not people, we're women. We are people, but you know what I mean.
But using that terminology only really protects a very small minority of people who are female to male transgender. If you're female to male transgender, I know this is very controversial, but if you have a baby growing inside your womb, you're not a man.
You're not a man. You're not a man.
Men don't have wombs.
Yeah. So people can't have abortions, but it's beyond that. Women specifically, it's a specific thing, and words matter. And it's interesting that he chose to say people instead of women. I think
he is such a wet sock.
Yeah.
He's just such a.
At least his hair's growing out.
Yeah. That's
woo! Thank God for that.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. His hair's growing. We got another fun video, I think, that kind of piggybacks onto this. The left really follows the science, y'all. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be great.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from her. There is no such thing as a
who and why? Well, we know Stacey Abrams. And why? Because she loves abortion. I don't even know what to say. So I looked into it a little bit. This is obviously in a reaction to a lot of the states are imposing heartbeat laws. Yeah. So basically they're saying if a fetus has a heartbeat in the womb, you can't abort it. And she's saying at 6, because that is apparently at 6 weeks. And she's saying, well, it's not really a heartbeat at 6 weeks.
Oh, what is it? A butterfly wing? Like a flutter?
So I looked it up just before coming out here, and you don't have, so at 6 weeks, a fetus is like this big. Aww. But it has the tubes that will become a heart, and that tube has like fluttering, pumping.
That's so cute.
And it has like a sound, and it's a beating sound.
Right.
So cardiologists they will call that a cardiac event. Or sorry, not activity. They call it cardiac activity. So it's like, so she's really
grasping at straws.
Yeah, like really playing semantics where it's like, it's not technically a beating heart. It doesn't sound like your beating heart, Stacey, but like even like I have a baby inside me right now.
Oh my goodness. So you're an expert on this.
I am. I heard its heartbeat on Tuesday, and it sounds like because it's so tiny.
It's a little baby heart. It's a baby heart.
But yeah, it's exactly. But it's like for her to be like, well, that's not a real heart because it doesn't have the same rhythm as an adult heart. It's like you're really playing with fire.
What does she think about people who have like issues with their heart? Like if someone has, like if your heart has a defect, does that mean it's not?
Yeah, like you can just be aborted at any time. Like it's like that argument where I saw this during the Roe v. Wade thing where people are like, oh, I saw this stupid lady on Twitter. She's like, oh, at my next kid's bake sale or whatever, I'm going to just bring eggs and flour and give it to them and be like, well, you're calling that a cake? Like,
oh, yeah.
That's her argument. But it's like, but it would be.
Let's compare.
It would be a cake if you put it in the oven and you didn't rip it out. That's literally Bill Burr's joke in his latest special about abortion. It's like, you can't just pull a half-baked cake out of the oven and throw it on the ground and be like, it's not a real cake. It's like, it would have been if you didn't friggin' pull it out of the oven. And like, it's just such a stupid analogy. And she's trying to make the same one here.
Well, and it's funny how they minimize human life to a food item. Like, squeeze me.
Yeah.
Come on, let's, you know what I mean? Like, it's a human life. Like, let's trust the science, you guys. Let's listen to our biologists.
And they're like, well, that beat isn't the same beat as this beat. It's like, it's a freaking baby.
It's a human.
It's a baby.
Anyway, so
she's fun. We all love her.
Love her. She's a great ethical woman.
Oh, and also, so that was from the RNC research on Twitter, but they, in the tweet, they extend it and they say, Abrams supports no limits on abortions.
Wow. An upstanding citizen.
Yeah.
Well, that's just wonderful.
That's fun.
So
that's fun.
Interesting.
Stacey. But
Very
just like kind of like our Prime Minister in a way.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't say, at least she has the balls to say what she thinks.
But that's what's interesting about these not pro-choice people, but pro-abortion people, is that they can't even really stomach it themselves. So they have these euphemisms for how they describe abortion and the way they describe the baby. And it's funny because it's like they know inherently that it's grotesque. And that's why they can't use the proper terminology. They have to call it like pregnancy tissue or whatever.
That's what they call it on Planned Parenthood.
Exactly, and it's funny because it just speaks to the fact that it isn't.
You're just a bunch of pregnancy.
I'm a clump of cells.
You're just a clump of cells.
I'm just a clump of cells.
Former pregnancy tissue.
Right, and it just speaks to the fact that it is so grotesque, and they know it deep down, and they just don't want the rest of us to know it.
No,
that's what it is.
Yeah, and the fact that Stacey talks about how it's men imposing this on women. It's like no, because when I go to the doctor and I hear my baby's heartbeat, I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm not like this is just some man toying with me. Like have a little agency, ladies. Like you're just being manipulated by men all the time. Like we're talking about like this. These people love to call themselves feminists. But at the same time, they're like, oh, men are just manipulating me all the time. Like don't be so stupid.
It's so true. Like maybe, perhaps, I don't know. This is controversial to say. Maybe men and women different, and women have something within their nature that kind of draws them towards going googly when it comes to babies.
Yeah. Like why do women cry when they hear their baby's heartbeat for the first time?
Yeah.
Because they're being manipulated by men?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's David Menzies' fault.
Yes.
Everybody. On that note, we have an ad.
Yay!
So perhaps we should play that.
Let's play that ad.
It's going to be good.
Are you liking the banter on our live stream that you're watching right now? If so, you should know that you can get exclusive Rebel News content by going to rebelnewsplus.com. You'll get special shows from my colleagues Sheila Gunn-Reid, Ezra Levant, as well as the Menzoid Menzies, and you'll also get to view our exclusive documentaries, including the one that tells you the truth of what was actually discovered, at least what is known to be discovered so far, at the Kamloops Indian Residential School. Take a look at the trailer.
Well, the remains of 215 children have been found in a mass grave in Canada.
Many of you know that just over a year ago, the discovery of the remains of 215 children was found at the Kamloops Indian Residential School at the Tecumseh First Nation. But what if I were to show you that what I just said wasn't true, and that in fact, a year later, not a single body has been found?
This mass grave is a painful reminder of the genocide.
Canada's leaders aren't condemning the burning of churches. No, they're endorsing the burning of churches.
A juvenile rib bone that surfaced in the same area.
You'd be surprised the number of people who say, you know, I'm a doctor, I'm a paramedic, and this is definitely a human bone, and it's definitely not.
Looks like the chief.
It is.
Could be.
Well, that's intense. And Matt and Drea have obviously put together this incredible documentary. And if you're in the Alberta area, there is a screening next week. So go to kamloopsdocumentary.com to buy your tickets. I believe it's at Canyon Meadows Cinemas. So that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah, me too.
I made some graphics for it, but I haven't seen it. So,
well, what the heck? Let's go to the screening. We won't be there, but you should go.
You should go.
You should
tell
go.
us how it is.
And tell us how it is. Yes, absolutely. All right, I think we got another fun video here.
I miss his voice.
Justin Trudeau?
No.
Oh.
Pierre Poilievre.
Oh, okay.
Whom is the person in which we are going to watch? Is that proper grammar?
I don't know. Ask Dave Shrigley. All right, we're going to play this clip.
Leader of the Liberal Party has an opportunity to respect the fact that heating your home in January and February in Canada is not a luxury. And it does not make those Canadians polluters. They're just trying to survive. This from a Prime Minister who burned more jet fuel in 1 month than 20 average Canadians burn in an entire year. So will the Prime Minister ground the jet, park the hypocrisy, and axe the tax hikes?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we're going to continue to stay focused on direct and real help for Canadians, responding to the challenges they're facing with meaningful measures that are going to help millions of Canadians in the middle class and those working hard to join it.
Leader of the Liberal.
What I don't understand about Trudeau is we're living in Canada right now, and all of his policies and whatever else he's imposing on us, it's impacting this country negatively. And obviously he doesn't feel those effects, but like he must know that life in Canada is quite difficult for people right now. And we have a couple more things we'll address on that note.
I love how he never like addresses what's being said to him.
Yeah.
It's just platitudes.
Like, does he not hear?
No, he doesn't hear. Well, he hears, but it's like he probably literally has like a mental block on anything coming in. And he just has like, oh, this triggers like this automatic response that can be, you can say it anywhere at any time. It's the same crap. We're committing ourselves to limiting fossil fuels and getting abortions for everyone, every person who wants one. Like,
and who does he think he's representing? Because I would argue, to Pierre Poilievre's point, most people in Canada just want to be able to heat their homes in the winter, not fuss about things too much.
That's a luxury.
It's a luxury.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, but it's like, Justin Trudeau can't believe truly in his heart that that's what Canadians want. They're so worried about the climate crisis that they're willing to forego heating their homes. Like, I'm all for sweater weather, guys, but I don't want to sleep in this.
No.
Okay?
No. It'll crush the
fibers.
The fibers. Yeah. I love Pierre. I love his voice. He just sounds like an old-timey prime minister from like the 20s.
Hello, everybody.
He's great. That's okay. We'll work on that.
We'll work on our impression.
But yeah, it's just I like the hashtag ground the jet. We should get that going.
Ground the jet.
The jet.
No, it's
Park
so
the
true.
Hypocrisy.
He's a climate criminal, and they always are. I mean, this is not news to you.
We talk about this on our show.
We do, yeah. We talk about Taylor Swift's another climate criminal, but she's not as bad as people like Kim Kardashian and Justin Trudeau who preach to the rest of the public about their carbon footprint. Yeah. If you're going to be a climate criminal, that's fine. Just keep your mouth shut. Yeah.
Like we do.
Exactly. I'm on my private jet constantly, and anyway, all right, we got one more clip here from Pierre that I think y'all are going to enjoy.
Has effectively admitted that his carbon tax has not worked, and therefore he needs to triple it. According to the Liberal Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador, the forthcoming hike in the carbon tax will mean that the total cost for a Newfoundland senior living in the countryside on their heating bill will have been 80%. Canadians cannot afford that. But just for clarity, if you are a Newfoundland senior, how much will your home heating bill rise as a result of the forthcoming hike in the Liberal carbon tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, like all parliamentarians, we have each heard stories from Canadians who are struggling with the high cost of living, with the inflation that's been caused by the global crisis. That's why we're putting forward concrete measures that are going to help Canadians. We're going to double the GST tax credit that's going to hit millions of families with extra support. We're delivering on support for low-income families on dental, and we're also moving forward with support for low-income renters. The Leader of the Opposition has an opportunity to support these measures and get help directly to Canadians. I hope he does exactly that.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I hope the Leader of the Opposition just supports all of the things that we want to do.
Just blindly trust,
yes, of course, because that's what the opposition is supposed to do.
Well, that's what the opposition's been doing the last couple years, arguably. But
that's true.
But perhaps there will be a shift.
And thank God that the NDP is not the official opposition.
Oh my gosh!
Just be like, oh, you're so great.
Like, you're amazing. I love you. But in what world do taxes solve any sort of crisis? I mean, how is that going to positively affect the environment?
People, this is like the mentality. People are so stupid that you have to take their money out of their pockets and then redistribute it to them in all these little tax credits. Like, because they're so stupid. They don't know how to use their own money. So we're going to help families by taking their money,
making them poorer,
taking their money, and then giving it back as we see fit. You have a certain amount of children in your home, you have certain daycare needs. We'll see that we'll make some promises and we'll get back to you, but first give us the money and then we'll show you how to spend it because you're so dumb.
Call me crazy, guys, and if you're listening, please send in your chats because we would love to hear from you.
Send us your money.
Yes, I would like to keep my money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to give my money away to the government for initiatives that I don't agree with.
Especially if you're like, well, I don't use all of those government programs. Like, there's no way to opt out of
I wish that we could pick and choose where our taxpayer dollars were going. I mean, that would be the democratic thing, arguably. No, I'm crazy.
We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
We're just going to take all your money and distribute it as we see fit because that's what liberal governments do. I mean, that's what governments do, but at least a conservative government is like,
should be
we're going to
transparency.
limit. I mean, you never know with politicians, but
yes,
we're at least going to try and limit the amount that we take from you. And when you see people complaining about like Doug Ford, it's like, oh, he's cutting this program and this program. It's like, true.
But you're also getting
You're also saving money.
Yes, it's so true. Yeah. Well, taxation is theft when in some cases it's obviously it's a necessary evil, but with liberal governments like the one we're currently living under, it's just so unnecessary and so careless.
It's just always more and more and more.
Yeah, and
you never hear liberals say we're cutting taxes
exactly
because that's some conservative talking point.
And it's not as if the quality of our life has improved at all under the Trudeau regime. I just don't. No. I don't feel like my life's better.
It's been so long.
It's been
I think
most of our lives. I feel like
we're so young. We're like 12.
We're really young.
But like, didn't he just celebrate 7 years?
Oh my gosh.
Or more? Has it been more?
It's time to go.
I should look that up.
Get him out of here. I think it was 2015.
Yeah.
He won. So, yeah, 7 years.
He's the worst.
He's the worst.
It's just we're done with him.
We're done with him.
Even if you're going to have a liberal government, just make it someone else. Yes. I'm so sick of the guy's face. I wish we had term limits.
Trudeau must go. Hashtag.
Yes, hashtag. And hashtag ground the jet.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's great. Well, speaking of government, pandemic bonuses at $190 million.
Woo!
Great. My favorite part about this Blacklock's article is that they talk about how Canada, the Treasury Board called it a credit to the world-class public service that these public servants give to us. When I go to any sort of government office, I don't feel like it's world-class service. I feel like I'm a burden and they're annoyed that I'm there.
Yeah, and they're wearing sweatpants. And also, they were shut down.
Yeah.
They were all friggin' shut down.
Yeah. Hello, I'm still waiting for my passport.
Hello. Get the woman her passport.
Get me my passport. It was just a name change.
For some stuff. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm still waiting for some stuff from the government too, and everything's backed up. Like, even on the forms when I was applying for this license thing, it was like, it usually takes about 3 or 4 weeks, but it'll take maybe 4 months because of the pandemic. It's like
the pandemic's over.
But during the pandemic, you're going to give these service people $190 million in bonuses. Like, who else?
World-class
Send us a chat and tell us if you got a bonus during the pandemic.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I got a bonus because I got my dog during the pandemic, and that was a bonus.
That is a bonus.
That I paid a lot of money for.
Yeah. It's so true.
And she has heartworm.
It's just...
But it's still a bonus.
Love Beatrice. You guys should go check out Kat's Instagrams to see more photos of Bea.
Yeah.
But I would love a 6-figure bonus. Okay, we're paying for it.
Yeah.
We are paying for it. Everyone is struggling with inflation right now. The cost of living is just egregious. Most of us are living paycheck to paycheck, even if we're in a 2-income household. And the fact that our public servants think that they deserve this is just it's such a slap in the face to everyday hardworking Canadians who are just barely scraping by.
Yeah. When they were the ones sitting behind, these public servants were either they were still getting paid, like anyone in government, they were still
doing nothing.
They were doing nothing, working from home, still getting paid, where a lot of hardworking Canadians were unable to work at all.
Yeah, my husband lost his job in hospitality.
Yeah. Of course. Oh my God. And the amount of small businesses that completely shut down, or women and men who work in service, like your husband, who are I actually I can't just.
Yeah. There's nowhere for them to go.
How do you serve a Bordeaux over Skype?
You can't.
You can't.
You could try.
You could try.
But it wouldn't be
coming
good.
next.
That's what's next.
Going to be in the metaverse.
Elon Musk, please make it happen.
Yes. But it's just so rich.
Yeah, it's rich.
Of these people to be it's for our world-class service that we deserve a bonus when everyone else on the planet is suffering.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It's unsurprising, but mind-boggling. It's just these government employees, man, to your point, who are just wearing sweatpants. And I remember when I was
their eyes at you.
When I was trying to renew my license or something, they were literally ignoring me and just having a conversation, laughing about whatever shampoo or something. And I'm
God.
I literally just want to get out of here. I took a day off to come here. And they just don't care.
Shopping at, what was it? What was that store I used to shop at? I don't know. I was at some store back in the day, and I remember that exact situation where it's a bunch of teenagers and they're talking about their New Year's Eve plans.
And you're like, hello, I just want to get out of here.
You're like, hi.
Excuse me, ma'am?
This is not world-class service, is my point.
Yeah,
it's literally like teenagers talking about their dinner plans, but they're the government workers that we pay for, and they're getting bonuses, and they're wearing sweatpants, and they're annoyed at you, and they're like, can you please put on your mask?
Yeah. And you're not allowed to complain to them. There's no accountability at any of these places. So if they give you,
that's the beauty of the government.
You bad service, which is, by the way, defined as world-class according to this article, there's no accountability. So good luck and good riddance.
Mm-hmm. Take your business elsewhere, except you can't.
Because it's the government.
Because it's a monopoly. Okay, cool.
Anyway.
We love that.
Yeah.
No, it's fun.
We could beat this to death.
Yeah.
I think we have. Speaking of death, our economy is dying.
I was like, where is she
Where
going
am I going
with
with this? Yeah. Our economy is dying, guys.
Says this article from Global Mail says Canada to face a moderate recession in the last quarter of 2022. Economic model predicts. Oh, you don't say. You don't say a recession is coming when inflation is skyrocketing. We know that interest rates are going up, and that's actually a good thing to try and halt inflation. But as interest rates go up, spending is going to go down, and the economy is going to slow down. It's like, I am the stupidest person on the planet when it comes to economics.
No, yeah, I know. I know
absolutely nothing. But this person's like, oh, this new economic model predicts. It's like, obviously, who?
It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
It does not.
Yeah, and they say,
thanks, Globe and Mail.
They say with rising interest rates, high inflation, and an unemployment rate that's predicted to rise to 8% from 5.4% in August. That's a big jump.
That's huge.
That's a huge jump.
That's not good.
So consumers will be squeezed into slashing spending and reining in their debts. Great. That sounds really fun.
That sounds fine. But don't worry, guys, because Justin Trudeau is going to tax the crap out of you and then redistribute it.
For the environment, though.
It's for the environment because, guys, we're in a climate crisis.
We're in a climate crisis. Just ask Greta. She's not an actor at all.
Just hand over what little money you have to the government so that they can fight climate change, and then you can starve and die.
Yeah.
And freeze to death.
I guess it's a great way to diet. Okay, so if you're trying to lose a few pounds, you can thank Justin Trudeau because you'll be starving. And we know that people are starving.
Yeah, literally. People are literally starving.
Because Toronto Daily Bread Food Bank sees an 170% increase in visits compared to pre-pandemic levels.
That's messed up.
Enormous.
It's like it sees 100% increase. No, 170. That's almost 200% increase in daily visits
in
for
just
people.
A span of 2 years.
2 years.
That's just absolutely insane. This is a first world country. Toronto is a world-class city, and we have tens of thousands. They're saying about 60,000 people were accessing before the pandemic, and now that number is doubled. So 120,000 people. What the heck? In a world-class city like Toronto, what are our politicians doing about this?
Don't worry, they're fighting climate change.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Yeah. Let's just keep worrying about the climate crisis while people are literally starving.
Literally starving.
And lining up at food banks.
And I mean, thank God that there are food banks.
I was going to say, literally thank God that there are food banks.
And like, you know, it's amazing. And I think this is a good opportunity if you're listening, if you have food to spare that you can donate. I mean, obviously it's necessary.
Yeah.
People really do rely on this, and it's just.
But that's the thing. Apparently, I was watching like Crowder or something this week, and there are stats to back this up, and I don't have them in front of me. But apparently, the more left-leaning you are, the less likely you are to voluntarily donate.
Really?
Yeah. And the more right-leaning you are, the more you voluntarily donate money
all
and
these people
time.
who scream about equity
yes.
like.
But that's the thing, because they literally need the government to force you to donate money. So it's like, well, like Justin Trudeau just said, we have all these programs to help low-income families. It's like, well, I can help a low-income family by donating
my own resources.
I can volunteer. I can donate food. But a lot of liberals aren't going to do that unless there's a literal gun to their head. Yeah, it's like, well, if we just vote in more policies that help low-income families, it's like you have everything you need to help a low-income family today. You can sponsor a child in another country.
Yeah.
You can sponsor a child in Canada. You can donate your time. You can do so many things.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that people just don't want to take it initiative and responsibility and go out and do something on their own free will out of the kindness of their heart. They need the government to fix it for them. And that's just the reason this country is in the crapper, frankly, because like we're putting so much pressure on the government to solve our problems. And that's not the way government's supposed to be. They're supposed to kind of come and, you know, help us out from here and there in emergencies when we need them. But for the most part, Canadians want to be left alone, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm wrong. I don't know. I want to be left alone by the
Well,
government.
we'll find out the next time there's an election, because I am very excited to see
I'm eager
and
to
Justin
see
Trudeau debate each other.
how they face off. Yeah, it'll be really interesting.
That's going to be fun.
Anyway, guys, we got another ad.
break?
Speaking of spending money, spend it here, please.
Yeah, literally.
My mug? I know. It's pretty cool. So is this hoodie I got on, and you could have it on too if you check out our special website at rebelnewsstore.com. That's where you can see Freedom Focus hoodies that we have for you, beanies, cell phone cases, you name it, all while supporting our journalism, where we fight to bring you the other side of the story, as opposed to, you know, being forced by the Trudeau government to fund leftist media out of your taxes. The truth is, without you and your generosity, there is no Rebel News. So again, if you like the reports that we bring you and that we also fight for freedoms in Canada, please consider doing some shopping, picking up some swag at rebelnewsstore.com. We appreciate your support.
Well, that makes me want to shop till I drop.
I love shopping.
Me too. And right now, if you use code misunderstood10, you can get 10% off your purchase.
Right now /
But that's only if you buy Misunderstood merch. So
Yeah.
go to misunderstoodmerch.com and check out our merch from our show. It's really fun stuff.
It's fun. It's
We've got some cute shirts. There's some climate shirts.
Yeah.
Abortion.
There's some abortion shirts.
There's just some gender shirts.
Oh, gender.
That one's really good.
There we
Assume
go.
my gender. Here we have it.
Oh, there we go.
And it's designed by us.
Yeah, guys, we designed these ourselves.
Yeah. How cute. That Assume My Gender. Like, that's so sweet.
That's so cute.
I wear it sometimes and people stare.
Actually, one of our coworkers came up with that.
It's true.
We designed it,
but
she
it's
said the thing, and I was like, oh, I'm taking that.
Yeah, we stole it.
Thanks,
but great
Jess.
artist steal. My favorite shirt, though, is our abort guide. Watch misunderstood.com.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Watch misunderstood.com.
I'm pregnant. I don't know.
She's pregnant. But subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get more fun chats like this. We cover a range of topics from celebrities to trans issues to gender,
we talk
feminism.
A little fashion. Yeah.
Talk about Harry Styles sometimes because I'm perplexed by his existence.
He's perplexing.
He is perplexing. Okay, I think we have one more video, and then we're gonna wrap things up.
Is this COVID?
This is curved.
Let's do a little JT.
Let's just round things out here.
COVID-19 vaccines have helped protect us and helped us get back to the things we missed. Over time, that protection fades. Additional doses give you better protection against severe illness and potentially long-term complications. Let's continue to take action. Keep your COVID-19 vaccinations up to date. A message from the government of Canada.
I was like, what is this?
COVID-19.
So Justin Trudeau, our good and honorable leader, tweeted this out. And what did he say? He says, it's time. If you're eligible for your booster, get it. Let's keep taking action to fight COVID-19, and let's make sure our vaccinations are up to date, because otherwise I don't do anything. That way, we can continue to do to do the things we enjoy with the people we love.
Look,
hey, you can already do those things.
I was just going to say,
you can already do them.
Vaxxed or unvaxxed, you can hang out with whoever you want,
You literally
guys.
could do it the whole time, almost.
But I guess progressives just need the government to tell them, hey, by the way, you can hang out with your friends
if you get another vaccine.
So well, that's inspired me.
We've been hanging out this whole time and having fun, and we've danced. We've danced the night away multiple times.
Well, I'm going to go get my booster because of that. I have gotten none of my other vaccines so far, but I'm going to start with my booster.
Let's just start with our boosters. And
Trudeau
see how it
inspired
goes.
me. That message was inspiring.
5 minutes later.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all, I think that's the sure.
That's the sure.
Thank y'all for tuning in. As you know, the Rebel News Livestream airs weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Rumble, Odyssey, Getter, and YouTube. So be sure to tune in. New host every day. Sometimes Ezra Levant himself even pops in. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss it.
I believe on Monday it'll be Alberta Day again. I think
it's
they do a little
Day.
Alberta thing on Monday. So
wear your cowboy hats and bring your lassos.
Bring your britches.
All right.
I don't know what britches are.
This has been fun. Thanks to everyone again who sent in their chats, and we'll maybe see you next Friday.
Yeah, probably.
Watch our show. Love you. Bye.
Well, Speaker, I am delighted to take this question from the honourable member because he asked about courage. And I'm going to show that courage right now to him and to all Canadians. And we're going to stand up against, and we are going to call out the partners in crime who are pickpocketing Canadians, who are perpetrating greedflation. Because as
heckled before I've even made my point of order. The member just said partners in crime. Is he suggesting that, number one, the Liberal government and the Liberal bench is participating in criminal activity, and to that extent, is the NDP partnering on that crime? I think that's extremely offensive, Mr. Speaker, and the member should remove that comment immediately.
We've had very interesting conversations in here today about people using turns of phrase, and so I find it's on this point of order, and Speaker, in my comments, I hadn't even finished my comment, so I'm not sure if the member has a guilty conscience, but I didn't accuse the Liberals of committing a crime.
Mr. Speaker, the member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes referred to the NDP as partners in crime. In doing so, he is suggesting that the Liberal bench, the government, and the Liberal members of Parliament are engaging in criminal activity, and he is also extending that to suggest that the NDP are partnering in that criminal activity. I suggested to you moments ago that you make the suggestion to the member to remove that comment. You asked him if he wanted to do that. Instead, he doubled down on it. I would suggest that you ask him once again.
All right, let me